I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. Psalm 77, verse 1. Asaph opens Psalm 77 in a place of raw, vocal desperation. The repetition is deliberate. He does not write, I prayed quietly, or I lifted a silent petition. He cried out with his voice, and then said it again. The doubling is not accidental poetic filler. It is the psalmist insisting that this was not a composed ceremonial prayer offered from a position of calm. This was a man who cried out loud, who pressed his full voice into the prayer because the situation demanded nothing less. The cry goes to God, not to a priest, not to a prophet, and not to the congregation. He identifies his target with the same precision he uses to identify his method. He cried unto God, and then says it again, unto God. The repetition of both the action and the recipient drives the reader to understand that the psalmist knew what he was doing and where he was directing his voice. This is not a man throwing words into the air, hoping something receives them. This is a man who knows where God is and drives his prayer straight toward him. The result is significant. He gave ear unto me. God listened. God bent his ear toward his voice, receiving the cry. This opening verse establishes that prayer in crisis is not wasted. His vocal, desperate, repeated cry reached God, and God responded by giving his full attention. The psalm that follows will descend into deep darkness, but it begins with this anchor. He cried, and God heard. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My sore ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. Psalm 77, verse 2. The psalmist describes the conditions under which he prayed. His trouble is not a minor inconvenience or a passing difficulty. It runs through both day and night without stopping. He used the phrase, my sore, ran in the night, and ceased not, to describe a wound that does not close, a grief that does not pause, a suffering that continues through the hours when people normally find rest. The night brings no relief. The darkness that should carry sleep carries only the same unceasing pain. The psalmist sought the Lord. Seeking implies active effort, not passive waiting. He pressed toward God during the very hours when his sore ran without ceasing, refusing to let the night's suffering become an excuse to stop pursuing God. Yet the verse ends with a confession that cuts against any easy reading of this as a triumphant prayer. My soul refused to be comforted. Asaph's soul would not receive comfort. The standard words of assurance, the promises he knew from Israel's history, the songs he had led in the sanctuary, none of them landed. His soul rejected comfort the way a wound often rejects a bandage. The pain was too present, too continuous, too real. This verse does not present the psalmist as a failure. It presents him as a man in genuine crisis, seeking God while acknowledging that his soul was not yet in a place to receive what God offers. Seeking and refusing comfort exist in the same verse, in the same man, at the same time. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained, and my spirit was overwhelmed. Selah. Psalm 77, verse 3. Verse 3 contains one of the most honest and striking statements in the entire Psalter. Asaph remembers God and is troubled by the memory. This runs against every assumption that remembering God should produce immediate peace. For the psalmist, in this moment, the memory of God intensifies his distress rather than relieving it. The psalmist knows who God is. He has led Israel in worship. He has declared God's wondrous works and testified to his power over nations. And now, in his crisis, the memory of that God makes his trouble heavier, not lighter.